a sluggo, slant and go.
It's called sluggo.
Casey the Beef Creek, and it's Wednesday night. It's show 119. Clemson Tigers have scored 29 points in about 11 minutes. What could go wrong? Oh, and I'm at the controls of Sluggo.
What could go wrong, I think, is the perennial, or what? It's not perennial, it's the wrong word. I think the daily, the game by game scoring drought that's bound to happen at some point. But they look good early. They really do.
31 points, and they're at the under 8 timeout with 7:55 to go in the first half. What could go wrong is the 119 things we came up with in the pre-show that could go wrong for Clemson basketball. That's what it's gotten to, and we'll get to it in a couple of minutes when we got it on our little rundown here. But 31-16 lead in the first 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Boy, I did that math in my head. 12 minutes and 20 seconds in. 31 points. Now I took
not just a pretty face.
Not at all. I was telling you, I took the under, I think it's 74.5, and you told me not to worry.
And so 47 now with 8 minutes left in the first half. Yeah, no worries.
We got this covered. We got it covered. All right. Hey, Beef, I don't know if you know this, but I know that you do. The Clemson softball team is 11-0. Mackenzie Clark, what you saw on your sheet that I sent you is wrong. She has 4 leadoff home runs. 4 home runs. Played 11 games. She's got 4 home runs in the leadoff position. She, I think, has 6. Valerie Cagle has 6. They got like 4, I was going to say guys, 4 ladies hitting over 500. They are just crushing teams and crushing the ball. Good start for the Clemson ladies softball team.
Really good start, 11-0. They've played some really good competition. Actually, Northwestern was the top 10 preseason team. They put it on them, especially the first game. The second game that they played against them in the ACC Big Ten Challenge was a little closer. Then they beat the snot out of Ohio State, which is always good to see in any sport. But you got JoJo Hyatt hitting 583. Valerie Cagle's doing it again, 556. She won 2 more national awards today. She's doing it on the mound as well. Plus, I was talking to our friend Nelson Wilhite the other day. He's saying Brooks McCubbin, Millie Thompson, Reagan Spencer, those are the 4 pitchers, along with Valerie Cagle. They can legitimately go 4 deep. It's a really good, really fun team. They got Davenport, Miklish. Of course, we got Logaleo. You got Abby Vieira behind the plate. Maddie Moore playing an unbelievable second base. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun team to watch. And I'm not saying they're going to beat Oklahoma, but Baylor did the other day. So we'll see. They're a lot of fun, man. Get on board the train, because they're really good. They're really good.
I'm struggling to watch. Of course, I got a lot of stuff going on, which we'll get to in a little while, but I know you do. And right now they're overlapping with the baseball game, and I'm not the 2 TV guy, right? I'm not even the picture-in-the-picture guy. I got it, and it sounds great, but I just can't do it. I can only concentrate on 2 things, and it's one game and a beer, and that's about all I can concentrate on at the same time. So Nelson was trying to tell me, watch the game or whatever, and I was like, I just can't. It moves fast, and they're fun to watch, I admit, but is it possible to say they're too good? I mean, there's no drama, right? Or there's a couple where there was drama, but for the most part, no.
For the most part, there hasn't. Especially like yesterday, I was like, "Oh my God, they're beating a ranked Georgia team. They scored 5 runs in the first inning, completely forgetting that Clemson's ranked number 5 or 6, depending on the poll. Georgia's 16, so they should be beating them by 8 runs. That's crazy. It's a weird mind thing.
It'll change when they get to the ACC, likely, at least for some of the series, but it hasn't been much of a much fun to watch. Yes, but I mean, I want to. The baseball has been more competitive, even though they had an 18-1 game, but not really a lot of fun to watch. John Chancey says it's because I picked them to lose. It's magic. Yes, please pick them for the next 3 games. I picked them to win for the exact same reason, only different. I thought the pressure's off, right? Nobody's talking about them, what seed in the tournament they are, and are they in or are they out? They're out. Pressure's off. Firing up threes, and they've scored 2 points in the last 2 minutes. Okay, so we'll see how it goes, but the pressure's off. So I picked them for that reason. Kevron checks in. It says, good evening. In jeopardy right now, and go Clemson Tigers. Hey, Beef, we were talking about the irony of the ACC network. You're in a hotel right now, and what channel do you have now that you didn't have last week?
I have Bally's. I have Bally's Sports, which is unreal because any other hotel I've been to when Clemson's been on Bally's, I haven't had them, and I don't have them at home. So it's crazy. Now I have them, and they're on the ACC network, which surprisingly to no one, we don't have in this hotel. So.
Yes. It's just so funny. And here's even a weirder thing. I've got Bally's here. That's the channel that the Spurs come on, and the Astros used to, but that's on something even weirder now, AT&T Sportsnet, which we get. But Clemson comes on those Bally Sports channels. It's just strange. They're on like the channel next to the Spurs, the ones with the dashes. I'm like, and it's not internet. It's, it's over the air TV. I don't understand. I get it here. Football games too, the ones that people say, oh, I've got to watch this on Bally's or whatever network, far-flung network. It's on my TV, and I live in Texas. I can't figure it out. But
well, it's funny too. I know that the old common phrase, overused phrase, is that the people from Ohio like to infiltrate this. I'm in Hilton Head today, or Myrtle Beach, or infiltrate the South Carolina beaches, and just so that no one's concerned, the Big Ten network is on this TV as well. So they're catering to their home team, I guess.
That's funny. You go to a bar, and I went to I took Parker to a Charleston River Dogs game. Now that you mentioned that, and there's this guy in front of me with a thick, I'm assuming New Jersey accent, talking about how Charleston was being invaded by people from Ohio. And I'm like, well, dude, you don't sound like you were born south of Broad yourself. I'm not sure where you're from, but he failed to recognize the what's the word?
Irony.
The irony of
you just worry about the math, buddy. I'll do the English and the words.
Oh boy, this will be a rollicking show. Hey, we got a baseball show tomorrow with JP Priester. He continues to work around our schedule. But last week we got him to Clemson about midnight, but such a good guy and works with us. And we'll talk more about baseball tomorrow night, but briefly, they're 4-0. They got a nice mix of youth and experience. They got some good arms. And here's my thing. Bakich is not scared to put those young arms in there. It always seemed like Monty Lee and Andrew C. were a little hesitant, right, to put the young guys out there. But Tristan Smith in the closer's role, woo, JP nailed it. He was electric, man.
Yeah, he really was. And I'll tell you what, my jaw was to the ground last night. And like you said, we'll talk about it more with BJ Bailey, the left-hander that came in. He was throwing some heat, and he comes from a weird angle. The only concern I had probably out of the pitching staff, and he's got a 0.0 ERA, was Olenchuk, just because he's throwing so daggum hard, but he was a little wild. He wasn't really placing his fastball too well. He only did have 1 walk. So again, I'm nitpicking here, but those kids are fun. And I don't know, Marty, my phrase about being a scary hitter. I think the old freshman number 10, every time he comes up, he just hits the ball hard. Cam Canarella. And they were talking about it yesterday in the broadcast. You just can't keep him off the field. So you're going to find a place to play him. He's not the most polished center fielder, but man, he can run, and he chases balls down. And, he looks a little awkward throwing the ball because he's probably a natural shortstop. I think he is a natural shortstop, but man, he's fun to watch. He's already got 8 hits, and he's batting 500 in 4 games, 8 hits in 16 at bats, 5 RBIs. This team's fun, man. It's fun.
Yeah,
So far.
I did not realize that he never played center field before. Like they said, he like played 3 days out there before the season started, and I say he's a natural, but he just looks like he can play anywhere he's one of those guys, right? And I gave you a hard time about that saying, but I certainly understand it. I understand it with him, and I understand it with Engel. And kind of reminds me of the old Robert Jolly, right? Robert Jolly used to look like he was 52 years old out there, and then somehow he's standing on second base, and you're going, "What just happened?"
Every at bat. You know, it was like he was putting up a great at bat, and he was gonna put the ball in play. I mean, Engel is my prototypical quote unquote scary hitter, but yeah, Canarella is fun, and even the other kids are it's a good time right now. I love what he's doing early. Obviously, we were 14-0 last year early, so there's a lot that can change, but you know, they fought back a couple times. They had a real nice game yesterday, which a tough Charlotte squad who threw their regular. He was a Saturday starter from the week before. And then they threw their everyday Friday night starter from last season for a couple innings. So I mean, they weren't holding back. They weren't throwing their midweek guy, and Clemson did throw Casey Talent, probably one of the names that you're going to see a lot of in the midweek. So
Yeah, it was a good game last night. We'll get, like we said, we'll get more into it tomorrow. But here's what I thought. I thought that first day they had, I think, 3 freshmen. They had Jacob Jarrell, Canarella, and left field was the young guy. I can't remember his name.
Nathan Hall?
No, starts with a C.
Crichton.
Crichton. They had him out in left field. So they had 3 freshmen starting. You know, one probably because of injury, but 3 freshmen starting. They had 2 transfers, if you count Blackwell, who I know was there last year, but they had him and another transfer starting, and some veteran, you know, guys have been with Clemson for a year or two. So it's a nice mix. That's what I've seen. You know, they don't have 7 transfers out there or 6 freshmen or whatever. It's a nice mix. Same thing with the pitching staff. As I said, Weiss came in, was unable to close. I thought he threw well, just couldn't close. And then Tristan Smith, the true freshman, came behind him and closed. So it's been a nice mix. And I don't think Olenchuk threw that bad. He had a couple of bloops, if I remember right. His 2 hits were
no balls were hit hard on those pitchers and the relievers yesterday. They really weren't. They were hit hard off of Talent. That home run that he gave up it might still be floating somewhere.
Lake Hartwell, as they say.
Yeah, it was deep.
All right, Beef. Clemson basketball's up 38-27 with 3:14 left in the first half. What do we got here? Hunter Tyson with 16 points, Hall and Chase Hunter with 6 apiece. So scoring some points, and Galloway's got 5. So they're scoring, but they're not winning recently, and it looks like unless something happens, this is going to be weird. They could get a double bye because they're still in 4th in the ACC, right? So they could technically get a double bye in the tournament, in the ACC tournament, and not make the NCAA tournament. And they could win the most games ever by a Clemson basketball team in the ACC. There's more games now, and not make the NCAA tournament. And their coach may not return next year. I don't know that. I'm just saying. And we were talking before. I did a poll on RubbingTheRock.com. 777 people responded, which is more than I've had for any football poll that I've done. And 81% of them said that they need new leadership on the Clemson basketball team. So it's crazy right now.
It really is, and I know they're still bubbling. They're not. I mean, getting blown out, losing to Louisville sucked, but they go on a little run here at the end of the season. They win a couple games in the ACC. They'll have an argument, I think. I know they have quad 9 loss with Louisville or whatever it was. I think it's only 4 quads, but they still have a chance. But you know, I like this team, and I told you before the show, they do it to me every year, and I don't know why I keep like latching on, saying maybe this is the year that we don't go into this major skid, but I don't know. I still really like the players. I still really like the team. I'm going to root for them till the end, but it is discouraging. And I'm never one. I'm never a guy that wants to call for someone's job. But I don't know. I don't know who you get. I mean, if I wish I knew the answer. It's like having those tests back in the day. If I had the answers, I'll have no problem with the test. But I want to see like who could they possibly get? I'm stuttering because I don't even know what the stuff I'm talking about. But I mean, some names that Houston Burnett and I were tossing around to each other. It's like, is that pie in the sky? And would they want the persona behind it? I'm not mentioning names because I don't even want to get it out there. But I don't know. Does it fit the culture? Is there a culture? Is it because Dabo's the head coach of the football team? Does it matter who you get? Does Graham Neff want somebody? It's just, you never know. Do you want someone slimy? Is there going to be someone slimy available that is going to win? What do you want to do? What do you want from your program? Because if you want 13 years of getting to the NCAA every 3 years, then Brownell's your guy.
Right. And I agree. That's why I put in the article I wrote for Rubbing the Rock, I put, the fans aren't going to go all the way in until there's a change. And if you're okay with the way it is, that's fine. Don't fire Brownell. I think the basketball team is at least, it's third for me. Softball could pass it by if it keeps going the way it's going, right? The softball team plays in the College World Series this year. They'll probably pass the basketball team by. I think our friend Nachos and Analysis had a poll out, and softball got like 30% of the vote. It wasn't that far behind basketball.
They're winning.
And baseball, I should say, baseball.
Well, here's something for you. And one name that we've always heard, at least some of us that have been kind of talking about Brownell leaving, is Bob Ritchie. Does that name do anything for you?
No.
Exactly. He's the head coach at Furman. And there's been talk from inside the program, inside Furman's program, that it's his job when he wants it. But is that gonna fill seats? Is that gonna put fannies in the seats at Littlejohn if you hire the Furman coach? I mean, I don't know if he's a good coach or not. I don't,
right.
But I don't know if he's a good guy or not.
It's going to take some doing. He's going to have to win some games. Yeah, it's not like you're getting. I'm trying to think.
It's like Mike Young.
Calipari. Yeah,
Mike
that
Young
was the last one.
Wofford.
Yeah, that was the last one they wanted, Mike Young. And look, he went to Virginia Tech. So why can Virginia Tech get basketball coaches? Because they had Buzz, and then now they got Mike Young. But Clemson is stuck with Brad Brownell. I think that's part of the issue for the fans, right? They're seeing teams like Virginia Tech hire coaches, and you're going, oh, well, why is Virginia Tech getting these guys? And Clemson is sitting here with Brad Brownell, mediocrity, right? I think that's part of the issue. But on the other hand, I would say you don't know until you try, or maybe you already know, right? I mean,
I don't know, but
who would thought Eric Backich would take the Clemson the baseball job? I mean, they make it sound like, he's been a Clemson guy his whole life. He was an assistant for one season, right? A volunteer assistant at that. Didn't pay him, theoretically. Didn't pay him at all. So, I mean, it's not like he, grew up idolizing the Clemson job or was in state like Monty Lee. Who knows? You got to I think the first thing you have to do is decide what you are. And if they keep Brownell, which I'm not against, if they keep Brownell, that tells me a lot, right? It tells me, yeah, we're okay going, 20-10 or 19-11. And like you said, every 3 years, make tournament once in a while, make a run. We're okay with that. So it'll just tell me a lot about, I said Neff had to, just got on the job and he had to make a decision on Monty Lee, and he made it, right? And you could have argued that Monty deserved another season, right? I didn't think so, but you could have argued that. And I love Monty Lee.
Yeah.
So, I what I don't like is people talking about you see me on social media. I'm not a big fire this guy, fire that guy. But when somebody tells me he has a family, well, let me tell you something. Everybody that gets fired has a family. I've been laid off. I've been, what do you call it? Reduction enforced. I had a family. Nobody was on Twitter crying for me, and I made like 1/20th of what these guys made, right? So I guess I'm in the middle. I'm not somebody that wants everybody fired, but I'm also not the guy that says keep him because he's got a family. I mean, the guy makes plenty of money. It's not like he's going to be on food stamps tomorrow, I hope. So I guess my point is, if they don't fire him, if they don't make a change, then that tells me they're fine. They're fine being mediocre, and that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, honestly, if they don't make a change, I'm probably still going to watch them next year.
Absolutely.
It's the paw on the chest is more
Yes.
important than who's counting up, but
Yes, absolutely. That's what I was going to tell you earlier when you said you're still watching him for some reason. The reason is you're a fan. You're a fanatic. You're a Clemson fan, right? Me too. I'll watch him. I love basketball. I like college basketball. Nobody in this house does. Parker can't stand it. He's an NBA guy. So it's just me watching Clemson basketball, and I love to watch it. And I'll watch all the games in March, and I'll watch them if they're in the NIT or whatever. So, but
there was no more fun Clemson basketball season, I don't think, for me personally, than 1997, Larry Shyatt's first year that they went to the NIT final and they lost to Cal, I think. But it was great. It was like every other day or every third day they had a game.
Yeah.
We had so much fun with it. It was a lot of fun, but not to say that we're going to have fun watching them in the NIT, but we still will. So
yeah, we still will, no doubt, no doubt. Yep, we'll see what happens. I'll know, and that kind of gives me the idea. If next year, if Brennell's still there, I say I won't get my hopes up. They'll start 10-1, and I'll get my hopes up, and they'll get crushed. That's just part of being a Clemson basketball fan. All right, Beef. Here we are. Show 119. It's been about 3 years we've been doing this together, and this is the first time we're really going to take a break. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got 4-hour meetings every day at work. That's just one. You got stuff. You have to travel. You got a family and a young son, which I know of because I was trying to get Seldom Used Reserve started when Parker was roughly that age, and then homework starts, as we talked about on the text the other day. So it's going to get tougher for you. So we're going to take a little break from Sluggo. I mean, football is pretty slow these days. Not a lot to talk about. I mean, we could dig stuff up. We could talk about it. But, not a lot of people are interested in that. And so we're going to take a little break till mid-ish April, maybe when the spring game comes around. We'll get back together somewhere around April 12th in there, unless there's big news, unless there's maybe a coaching change at one of the Clemson programs. But I know you got Message Board Genius and Chopping Beef on. I haven't listened to the Message Board Genius podcast, but I'm a religious, as you know today from the text, a religious listener to Chopping Beef, and you guys cracked me up. So I don't want to take away from that, and I want you to, have more time with the family and all that, and you travel too. So I do this without traveling very much. So I appreciate the sacrifices you make to talk to me every Wednesday night, but we're going to give it a little break till about mid-April and then reassess where we're at and talk some Clemson spring game probably.
Yeah, but yet we'll still be talking every week when we're doing the baseball show. So
Yes.
we're just taking one piece off the table, but you'll still see our beautiful faces live. It's not a podcast, so Marty doesn't have to do any editing afterwards.
Woo!
We're just going to jump on and
Yeah.
with me as his partner. I know how much editing he has to do to make this sound good, but no, we will be back, no doubt about it. And but we're not going anywhere. We're still going to be doing the baseball show on Thursday evenings.
Tomorrow night we'll have JP on with us if he's
30 minutes.
Yeah, if he's not ditched. And that is true, right? I've got this down to a science where it's not a lot of editing, but on that show I don't have to do anything. It's live, we're rolling. That's it. Yep. I just walk away from the computer.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And I did that on purpose just for that reason. Right. Cause like I said, I've got this down to a science now pretty much, but just cut out, at first I thought, remember when we started, I'm like, I'll edit it and I'll make this and it'd be funny. And no, I ain't doing nothing.
I did the same thing with Chopping Beef, and now it's just literally throw it out there and just however it came out.
But it's funny you say that, but it fits that show's personality because really that's what you do. You guys just throw it out, right? You guys just throw it out.
It wasn't how it started, but yes, that's how it is recently. Yes.
Well, the little clip I sent you today was so freaking funny because like three guys with three totally different, three different takes, right? Like, I loved it. Hated it. I was okay. So it's funny, but we'll get back. We'll be back around the middle of April. Give Beef some time off. Give myself some time off from the editing portion. I got, we're going to be writing for Rubbing the Rock, and your baseball previews are wonderful, by the way. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But I want to do some more writing for the Astros. The good thing about Rubbing the Rock is there's a big audience for us to write for. The bad thing is there's a formula, and that's good and bad in that they know what gets views, but it also kind of restricts what you write about in certain ways and how you write about it. So I've started up a little thing on the Astros because Parker's a big fan and I'm a fan because he's a fan of something we do together. We enjoy. We already got tickets to 2 games. We're planning a road trip of one night in Arlington with the Rangers and the Astros, the next day in Houston with the Astros and the Rockies. So we got all kind of plans, minor league games this summer. But long story short, I want to do some writing about the Astros too. So, and I don't have, it's pretty simple. It's not a video. I don't have to put my face in there, and I can just write and what I want to write. Don't get paid anything for it, but it's what I want to do. So that'll give me time to do that. We'll awesome. Be back. Yeah, we'll be back in April. Beef, tell everybody thank you, and let's get out of here. Baseball show tomorrow night. It'll be just like this one, right under 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, thanks to everyone in the Seldom Used Reserve College Football Discussion Facebook group, Uncle John McGee, as always, Sluggo Podcast, and each and every one of you who listens, likes, shares, and participates. On behalf of Marty Seldom Used Reserve Coleman, I'm Casey the Beef Cregan. Check out rubbingtherock.com, and we'll be back around April-ish.
Yeah, Beef. I'll see you in April, but I'm sure I'll be on the text in about 15 minutes.
I'll see you tomorrow.
I think we're done here.